I'm here at Panasonic UK and I'm joined by Michiharu-san of Panasonic Japan and Richard Payne of Holdan, you're the UK distributor for some of this equipment we're going to look at. What have we got here?
Well, this is our first look at the GH5 from Panasonic, and yes, and this is something that we've been incredibly eager to get our hands on, and now the full feature list has come into the public domain at last. So we can see it has in-body stabilization, it has twin SD card slots, it has a 20.3 megapixel sensor, and it always uses the full sensor for readout, so there's no cropping.
Full width.
That's right, the full width of the sensor.
But the big headline news, let's get to it. So 4K and 6K.
4K and 4K at 50p and 60p. Also 4K at 422 10-bit. So this is a broadcast quality codec in a compact camera like this for the first time in the market. And yes, a 6K mode as well, which initially will be a 6K photo mode for extracting stills at up to 18 megapixels from the moving video. But later we can use this the full 4x3 20 megapixel sensor or 18 megapixels of it to create 6K anamorphic footage, which will be fantastic in something this form factor.
And so what kind of bit rates will the different 4K modes have? What's the maximum bit rate for this?
If we set all inter mode, in that case, more than 400 megabps we can use.
And that's not initially, that's going to be a firmware update for that?
Yeah, it will be after firm upgrade. And at the first, from mass production, we use a maximum 150 megabit. And even using 50p, the reason is we will introduce new codec, H265, and it makes almost double compression ratio.
So, which modes use the H264 and which modes use the H265, or which resolutions use H264 and which use H265?
4K mode, only 50p or 60p, we use H265 to make more compression.
And 6K also uses H265?
Not fixed yet. Not
fixed. Okay, so watch this space. And then can you explain externally what does this do?
There's a full-size HDMI connection, and we will get simultaneous 10-bit 422 output while recording 10-bit 422. So this is unique again.
Yeah, so this is a big deal actually, because unlike the previous cameras and pretty much everybody else's cameras of this size, they blank out the screen or the EVF when you're feeding to a Atmos Shogun or something like that. This is not going to do that. This
isn't going to do that. That's right. We're capable of that simultaneous record, and also having two SD card slots, we can simultaneously record to two cards while simultaneously outputting to a third device.
And then if you're recording 6K, can you output that to a recorder as well, or to a...
It isn't part of the HDMI specification, but we don't know yet exactly. When the full 6K implementation comes along, I'm not sure it's fixed for monitoring. When you're recording 6K internally, will HDMI be active?
Also not fixed yet. And actually, as you said, about 6K video format, it's not fixed yet. And maybe it's... not only now, but also in future, we have 4K and 8K, not 6K. This means maybe we have to make some kind of compromise.
But the 6K, to be clear, is a 4x3 aspect, both in the video mode and in the photo video mode. So if for video shooters, anamorphic shooters, that means you can...
Yeah, and a 2 times anamorphic converter you'd need.
And actually, the sensor size then is getting quite close to some more expensive cinema camera solutions that are anamorphic as well, right? It's not...
That's right. Yes. Yes, it's going to be very interesting to see the performance in 6K. I'm looking forward to...
Have you tested it yet with an anamorphic lens?
Not at all. We've got our SLR Magic anamorphic, 2 times anamorphic lenses, and it's one of the first things I'll do as soon as that mode is activated on the camera.
Okay, and while we're talking about lenses, there's a new kit lens which you've got there, which is, I think, a 12 to 60?
That's right, a 12 to 60. This will ramp from 2.4 to f4, but it's a really useful kit lens. It will come as part of a kit with the GH5.
And is this one of the ones with the super funky image stabilization system in it?
That's right. And it's the image stabilizer. The image stabilization will work conjunctively, so internally and through the lens.
So hang on. So in the body and the lens,
That's
and they
right.
work
Two
in
different
sync.
stabilization systems, but they'll work in sync to give you really incredible image stabilization performance.
And will you get that with third-party? Will you get that with Olympus lenses or?
No, this will only work with the Panasonic Lumix lenses with their image stabilization systems. And will it be only the recent Panasonic lenses for image stabilization, or is it?
Some of our lens, you can use so-called dual IS, but another some lenses. In future, of course, we will make firm upgrade, but at this moment, only some lenses. We can.
And then if you put a Canon lens with a Metabones adapter, will that stabilization work? Or
In that case, we can use body IS.
so you suggest to turn off the lens IS and
Yes,
use the body IS?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
In that case, just putting focal length, it's okay.
Okay, and then you can program in the focal length like you can
Yeah,
with the G80
Yes.
in the back of the
Yes.
the back. Okay. Other things on the lens, the focusing system. It's not a phase detect. It's contrast detection.
Yes, and based on contrast detection, and we have advanced technology, so-called DFD technology.
And what does that mean in practice? Is it much faster than the GH4? Is it more responsive? Can you slow it down for focus
It's
pulse?
at 0.05 of a second, or 0.05 seconds for autofocus.
Yes, and much improved, yes.
And then I noticed that, we saw a presentation where you have a mode where you can choose two subjects and have it pull focus between them, and you can choose the speed. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
And it makes, use of, about DFD, not only just making a fast detection, but also we can get the motion vector. And using motion vector, it makes very, very fast.
And that's for prediction.
Yes.
It predicts where it's going to move
That's
to
right.
next.
So if you've got a train coming towards you at an angle, it will detect the motion of the train, so it will be able to hold focus on the train as it comes towards you, or a person, or whatever object it is.
How many AF points are there, and how much of the screen how much of the area, the chip does it cover?
Maximum 255.
Okay, and it's quite a large area of the
Yes,
sensor.
almost all area we can use.
Okay. So that's the focusing. Handling-wise, to me, when you first look at it, it looks very much like a GH4.
It's 10% bigger than the GH4, and some of this extra size is because we've got the two SD card slots, we've got the full-size HDMI, we've also got a larger flip-out screen.
And it's better resolution?
It is higher resolution. Is it 1.5, the resolution of the flip-out screen?
Around 1.5 mega.
1.5 million pixels. What's really incredible is the EVF. This is an OLED EVF with a much higher resolution than we've ever seen before in the mirrorless market. It's 3.6 million?
Yes.
Yes, 3.6 million pixels. It is effectively like looking at reality.
Can I say it might be suspiciously similar in resolution to the one on the Leica SL? I'm not going to ask you guys to comment, but
You can say that if you like.
okay. And then what's this on the top here?
This is an XLR adapter, which will be
Turn it around to the guys.
yes, so an XLR adapter which you'll be able to buy as an accessory for the GH5. This will only work with the GH5. You won't need separate cabling to come into the mic input. So it will allow you to put balanced microphones in with phantom power, and you have proper potentiometers here for adjusting volume, and you've got the ability to add not just phantom power but pad them as well. So this gives us a flexible, high-quality sound input which will inject the sound straight into
Yeah,
the
so there's no
motherboard of the
cable from
camera.
here to here. It's
That's
connected
right,
through the
it's
hot
done
shoe.
through the hot shoe connection. That's right.
Okay, excellent. And then there's no mic hold on the side, so on the top. Sorry, on the side.
We'd use this cold shoe here to be able to put a mic holder onto it.
Or a radio mic or whatever else you want to. Headphone jack?
Yep, we've got both headphone jack on the side here as well as 3.5 microphone jack. So we've got full monitoring.
Yeah, so you can still put a Rode mic or something straight into it.
No problem at all. That's right.
If you've got that stuff. In terms of the overall design philosophy, what were you thinking about? What inspired you to make these choices with this camera?
After introducing GH4, we made so many interviews for professional and also high amateur, and also many senior people. and we make kind of list to be improved. And this is the reason why we put almost 90% of requirement of them.
Well, I have to congratulate, I've seen, like you, all these forums, these lists of demands that users have. Quite frankly, if you asked me a year ago, I said quite a lot of them are pie in the sky, unrealistic, but lo and behold, you've actually put, like you say, 90% of them are actually right here in this camera, so you are to be congratulated for that. Thank you. You have done something very special with image processing. You were showing a slide earlier of what was an aliased edge on the side of a windmill, I think it was, and then a smooth version, which is what you were claiming this records. How is that done?
Normally, from via allocation, we make some kind of weighting with in 4 pixels. And within 4 pixels, we'll make chrominance and also a luminance signal with some calculation. And mainly, luminance signal will be made by some weighting from G signal, R signal, and B signal. But in that case, it's kind of averaging.
Yes.
And of course, it has some limitation of luminance frequency response. However, we change the calibration area from 1 to 9 area, and it makes more flexible to get resolution. If picture area is not so much detail, in that case, we'll use with more detail, more SN can be got. And if it has so much detail, in that case, we make more detailed direction. And between more detail or more SN ratio, we Venus engine will control dynamically.
So when you look at an entire image, if you've got blue skies and a continuous tone, it will allocate less information, and if you've got a fine herringbone suit, it will look at that and think there's detail here. We need to allocate. Is that essentially how it works? Or
yes.
Okay. It's very smart.
So we're really leveraging the extra processor power available to do much cleverer image processing within the camera.
Okay, let's talk about log, because that's another thing. It's not included for free with the camera, right? Is log free, or do you have to pay for it?
It will be introduced as a license fee. Yes.
That's right. In the UK, it will be £79, and it'll be something you add to the camera after purchase by going to a Panasonic website.
And what kind of log is it? It's same V-log as the GH4?
That's right. The same V-log as the...
Same LUTs, same everything?
Same LUTs will be the same, that's right. The same matching with Vericam. And
then I read somewhere on a slide, it was saying 12 stops of dynamic range. Is that what Panasonic are quoting? How many stops of dynamic range has this camera got, the sensor got?
It's almost same level as a GH4.
Okay,
means
Okay, you won't say it. I'll say it for you. I think it's 12 from what you've said. So it's off camera. What should you expect to see that's better in the image from this over the GH4? I mean, we've been looking at some stuff on screen. I can't show you here, but
it will be a lot easier for pushing a grade further to have the 10-bit 422 images to play with from the internal recording. This will definitely let you apply a more extreme grade or more extreme looks without getting banding or without getting the sort of chroma breakup you can get with 8-bit 420 images. So anything which we're grading will look significantly better.
And in low light, you've also done some very clever things. We were looking at a ISO 6400 image. It looked quite impressive to me for a small sensor. How did you do that?
Of course, to compare with GH4, sensor is much different. Already, the sensor of GH4, it's one generation older. And between within 3 or 4 years, sensor itself, it's much better, improved better. And also, by signal processing by Venus engine, we can manage so more intelligently about noise reduction. And also, from this camera, we can use all area, all horizontal area. Formerly, we use just 8 mega in sensor, and more area makes less noise. This is the reason why.
Okay, and also another thing I noticed, with the Venus engine, you managed to push the high frame rates way up high. I mean, what have you got now in terms of high frame rate shooting?
Up to now, with 4K, 60p is limit, actually, because of readout speed of sensor.
But the HD?
HD up to 180.
180 frames a second.
180 frames a second.
It's a big step up from 96.
It is
Yes.
almost double.
Have you seen what that looks like compared to 96?
Not yet. No, we haven't had the chance to play with that setting yet.
So can I ask, why has this camera not got a larger sensor? Why not 35mm sensor or APS-C sensor in this camera?
Oh, because we are handling 4 SARs. And about 4 SARs, we have so much ability and also capacity in future.
And I mean, from your side, can you speculate as to why they've not gone for a bigger size?
Well, I think the whole thing that makes the Lumix camera range stand out is the size they can be, the portability of having a camera which can create this sort of image quality. I mean, we're talking this possible 6K anamorphic mode, H.265 recording. What would be the point in making it larger and heavier? There are larger, heavier cameras out there which will do the same. Larger, heavier, much more expensive cameras. And you're welcome to use that if you need your muscles building up. But for sheer portability, nothing is really going to beat the marrying of a Micro Four Thirds sensor to this sort of processing power that you get in a GH5.
How about speed boosting? Have you tried a speed booster on there?
Not yet, no. That's something else. We only got the sample today to have a look at, so that's something we'll be trying quite quickly.
Okay, well, very impressive camera. Thank you very much for showing us. And when can people expect to buy it?
We should have stock from the very end of March. That's what we hope for. You'll also be able to see the camera in detail at the BVE show in the UK at the end of February.
Okay, thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you very much.